60 feet long, 40,000 psi of bite force. 3 times the size of a great white, the Megalodon was the apex predator that ruled the oceans for millions of years. Then, 3.6 million years ago, scientists declared it dead, extinct, gone. But here's what they never told you. That conclusion wasn't based on proof. It was based on what they didn't find. And in an ocean we've explored less than 5% of, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Because something is hunting the deep, something massive enough to scar sperm whales, something that leaves 60-foot bite marks on submarines. And if the Megalodon is still down there, it proves everything we know about the ocean is wrong. It's a question that has fascinated scientists, sparked documentaries, and pulled millions of people into one of the greatest ocean mysteries ever. And by the end of this video, you might start to wonder if the biggest shark ever is still out there, hidden in the deepest parts of the ocean where we've barely looked. The Megalodon, the biggest shark ever. Let's start with what we know for sure. The Megalodon wasn't just a shark. It was a force of nature, a living weapon built for dominance. It didn't just survive, it ruled. We're talking about a giant prehistoric shark that could grow up to 60 feet long. That's longer than a school bus, larger than most modern whales, and heavy enough to outweigh multiple cars combined. Its body was thick, muscular, designed for power rather than speed. Every movement it made would have been slow but unstoppable. Its teeth were massive, sharp, serrated like giant blades. Some fossils show teeth over 7 inches long, bigger than your entire hand. And its bite force? Estimated to be over 40,000 psi. That's not just strong, it's destructive. Enough to crush bone, tear through flesh, and break prey instantly. This wasn't just an apex predator. It was the apex predator of the ocean. Nothing hunted it. Nothing challenged it. Everything feared it. Entire ecosystems changed depending on where it swam. When it appeared, the ocean didn't just react, it cleared. So when people ask, is Megalodon real? The answer is simple. It was very real. But the real question, the one that keeps coming back again and again, is it still alive? Why scientists believe Megalodon went extinct? According to scientists, the Megalodon went extinct around 3.6 million years ago. And on the surface, the explanation makes sense. The Earth began to cool, ocean temperatures dropped, warm coastal waters, where the Megalodon thrived, started disappearing. This forced many marine species to either migrate or adapt. But for something as massive as the Megalodon, adapting wasn't easy. It needed warm water. It needed large prey. It needed stable ecosystems. At the same time, new predators began to appear. Smaller sharks, faster hunters, more adaptable species like early great white sharks. They didn't need as much food. They could survive in colder waters. And they reproduced faster. Slowly but surely, the Megalodon started losing its advantage. Food became harder to find. Competition increased. Survival became more difficult. And eventually, it disappeared. At least, that's what the fossil record tells us. But here's where things get interesting. Fossils only tell us what we've found. They don't tell us what we haven't found. The deep ocean, a world we hardly know, here's something that changes everything. We've explored less than 10% of the ocean. That means over 90% of the ocean is still unknown, unmapped, unseen. Think about that. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the bottom of our own oceans. Especially the deep ocean, the parts where sunlight never reaches. Down there, it's pitch black, completely silent. Pressure is so intense it can crush submarines. Temperatures drop close to freezing. It's one of the most extreme environments on Earth. And yet, life exists. Strange, alien-like deep ocean creatures survive there. creatures with glowing bodies, transparent skin, and shapes that don't even look real. Some of these species were once believed to be extinct for millions of years until they were suddenly discovered alive. So when people ask, could deep-sea creatures hide something like the Megalodon? It doesn't sound impossible anymore. It sounds unanswered. Megalodon sightings. Real or myth? Now let's talk about sightings, because this is where the mystery starts to feel real. Over the years, there have been countless reports of enormous shark-like creatures. Fishermen describing something far larger than any known shark, moving silently beneath their boats. Divers claiming they saw massive shadows below them, too large, too slow, too unnatural. Some submarine crews have even reported sonar readings detecting huge, unidentified objects moving deep underwater. And then there are claims of real Megalodon sightings caught on camera, blurry, unclear footage that keeps people debating for years. But here's the truth. None of these have been scientifically confirmed. No clear evidence, no verified specimen. Nothing that proves without a doubt that the Megalodon's still alive. But here's the thing, the absence of proof doesn't always feel like proof of absence. And that's what keeps the mystery alive. Could Megalodon be hiding in the deep sea? Now this next theory is one of the most talked about. If the Megalodon's still alive, it wouldn't be near the surface. It wouldn't be swimming near beaches or attacking ships. It would be deep underwater, far beyond human reach. Places like the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, almost 11 kilometers down. Completely dark, barely explored, almost untouched by humans. It sounds like the perfect hiding place, a place where something massive could exist without ever being seen. But here's the problem. The Megalodon needed a lot of food. It hunted whales, large marine animals, and anything big enough to sustain its size. The deep ocean doesn't have that kind of ecosystem. There simply isn't enough energy or food to support a predator that large. So unless something changed, survival down there becomes extremely unlikely. What if the Megalodon evolved? But now, let's flip the idea completely. What if the Megalodon didn't just survive? What if it adapted? Evolution doesn't stop. It never has. Over millions of years, animals change in ways we don't always expect. Deep-sea creatures today look nothing like their ancestors. So imagine this, a Megalodon that became smaller, slower, more efficient. Maybe it no longer hunts whales. Maybe it feeds on smaller prey. Maybe it changed its entire lifestyle. Maybe it even looks completely different now. If that's true, we might not even recognize it if we saw it. And that possibility is what keeps people wondering. The science problem. Where's the evidence? Here's the official story, and this is where you need to pay attention. Science demands evidence. No body, no proof, no existence. That's the line they feed us. But history has a funny way of embarrassing people who said that. The giant squid was a sailor's myth for centuries, until one washed ashore in 2004 and rewrote marine biology overnight. The coelacanth was extinct for 65 million years until a fisherman pulled one out of the ocean alive. Here's what they won't say out loud. We've mapped more of the surface of Mars than the bottom of our own ocean. Less than 5% explored, and in the parts we've actually seen, submarines have returned with 60-foot bite marks. Sperm whales wash up with scars no known predator could inflict. So where's the evidence? Maybe it's hiding in the 95% of the ocean we haven't dared to look. Or maybe the evidence is exactly what they're not showing you. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The deeper you go, the less the rules of official science seem to apply. Why people want the Megalodon to be alive, so why does this idea keep coming back? Why do millions of people search, is the Megalodon still alive in the ocean? Because it taps into something deeper than curiosity. The ocean is one of the last true mysteries on Earth. Dark, endless, unexplored, and the idea that something massive could still be out there, watching, waiting, hidden beneath the surface, it creates a powerful mix of fear and fascination. The Megalodon isn't just a shark anymore, it's a symbol of everything we don't understand yet. What would happen if Megalodon still existed? Now imagine this for a second. What if the Megalodon still existed today? It would change everything. Ocean ecosystems would look completely different. Whale populations would be affected. Shipping routes might even be monitored differently. There would be clear signs, unexplained disappearances, disruptions in marine life, patterns we wouldn't be able to ignore. But we don't see those signs. And that tells us something important. The final truth about Megalodon. So, what's the truth? Is the Megalodon still alive? Based on everything science has discovered so far, it's extremely unlikely. All available evidence points to extinction millions of years ago. But here's the thing, we haven't explored most of the ocean. And until we do, there will always be questions. Always be theories. Always be that tiny possibility that something is still out there. Remember that moment at the beginning? Floating in the ocean, something massive beneath you? It's probably not the Megalodon. But the fact that we can't be completely sure, that's what makes this mystery so powerful. If you enjoyed this, you'll definitely want to watch the next video, where we explore real deep-sea creatures that are even more terrifying than the Megalodon. And if this made you question what's really out there, hit like, subscribe, and stay curious.